Hello! Welcome to today's episode.
Let's make better questions.
All right, today we're going to zero in on a skill that is absolutely essential for every B1 English learner, and that's asking great questions. This isn't just about grammar, it's about making real connections, solving problems, and really, truly expressing yourself. So let's dive in.
Because that's really what this is all about, isn't it? It's about moving from just answering questions to actually steering the conversation yourself. It's about finding out what you need to know and, really connecting with people. And asking the right questions, well, that's what gives you that power.
So here's our game plan for this explainer. First, we're going to talk about why questions are basically your B1 superpower. Then, we'll get into the nuts and bolts of the present and past, followed by framing the future. And to finish, we'll power up your skills with modals and tags. Sound good? Let's get started. Okay, Section 1, your B1 superpower. So why do I call it that? Why is this such a game changer for you right now? Well, because you're not a beginner anymore. You're at that amazing stage where you're ready to engage with the world in a much more dynamic way. And questions are the absolute key to unlocking that. Just think about what B1 really means. You can handle most things that pop up when you're traveling. You can jump into a chat without having to prepare for it. You can talk about your hopes, your dreams, and you can actually explain why you have certain opinions. And the common thread through all of that, it's your ability to ask for things. Asking for information, asking for clarification, that's the engine that drives all of this forward. And this quote just hits the nail on the head. A core B1 skill is being able to cope flexibly with everyday problems. And flexibly is the key word here. It means you can solve problems as they happen. You lost your wallet, you need to ask, "Excuse me, has anyone handed in a wallet?" You're not sure which bus to take, you gotta ask, "Does this bus go to the city center?" See? Questions are your tool for being flexible. So here's the bottom line. Knowing a bunch of vocabulary and grammar rules is great, but it's using that knowledge to actively go out and get information. That's what unleashes your potential at this level. It's really the bridge that takes you from passive knowledge to active, confident communication. Okay, let's get into the practical stuff. Section 2, Mastering the Present and Past. This is all about building the solid foundation of your question toolkit. Nailing the syntax here is just fundamental. And here's the good news. English question structure is actually pretty consistent. Most of the questions you'll ever ask follow this simple, repeatable formula. Let's call it QASM. Question word, auxiliary verb, subject, main verb. Think of it as your secret recipe. Let's see how it works. Check out these classic present tense questions. The first one is a simple yes-no, so it kicks off with the auxiliary verb, do. But look at the next two. They use question words, how long and what. But notice they all follow that QUSM structure we just talked about. Auxiliary have, subject you, main verb been studying. It's a pattern you can totally rely on. And guess what? The pattern just keeps going right into the past simple. For most verbs, your auxiliary is did. Who did you see? Why did you get? It's so clean, so simple. Now, the only little tricky one is when a word like what is the actual subject of the sentence, like in what happened then. In that case, you don't need did. But honestly, for most of the questions you're going to ask, that QUESM formula is your best friend. All right, let's talk about something that trips a lot of people up. When do you use the present perfect and when do you use the past simple? Well, it all comes down to one thing, time. Use have you been when you're asking about a general life experience, with no specific time mentioned. It's like asking some time in your life? But the second you want to know about a specific, finished time, you have to switch to the past simple with did. When did you go? That's the crucial difference right there. Okay, you're doing great. Section 3, Framing the Future. Let's see how this all builds. Asking about plans and what might happen is so important for making arrangements and, just talking about life. And the good news is the structures are just as clear-cut. First up is will. We tend to use this when we're asking for a prediction or about a decision that's not like a set-in-stone plan. And the formula? Oh, it's beautifully simple. You just pop will right before the subject. Let's have a look. Will Spurs win the league? That is a classic prediction. Nobody really knows, right? The second one is a conditional. It's asking about a possible future action that depends on something else. In both of these cases, will is absolutely the perfect word to use. Now, for going to, this is what you pull out when you're asking about something that's already a plan, or when there's really clear evidence that something is about to happen. The structure is just like a regular present continuous sentence. but you just flip the subject and the verb to be. This is a perfect example. You look outside, you see those dark, heavy clouds. That's your evidence. The statement in your head is, it's going to rain. To turn that into a question, maybe to ask a friend, you just flip those first two words around. Is it going to rain? So simple and so effective.
All right, you've got the foundations totally down. It's time for section 4. Let's power up with modals and tags. We're about to add some tools that will make your English sound way more natural, nuanced, and honestly, just more sophisticated. Modal verbs are fantastic. We're talking about words like would, should, can, might. They're like little flavor packets that you add to your sentences to talk about possibility or give advice. And the best news is, the question formula is super, super easy. It's just like using will. Modal verb, then your subject, then the main verb. That's it.
Just look at the variety here. Would is perfect for those what-if hypothetical situations. Should lets you ask about a past obligation or maybe a regret. And even a semi-modal like need to follows the pattern. It just uses do as its helper verb. Getting comfortable with these adds so much color to your questions. And for our final tool, let's talk about question tags. These are an absolute hallmark of conversational English. They're these little mini questions you stick on the end of a statement, and they turn what you're saying into a real interaction. They invite the other person to agree with you or to respond. They really make you sound so much more fluent. Now here's the really cool and simple rule for question tags. If your main statement is negative, like he hasn't come home, then your tag is positive, has he? And if the statement is positive, he built the house, then your tag becomes negative, didn't he? It's like a little seesaw. It's a beautiful little trick of English grammar that makes a huge difference once you get the hang of it. And just like that, there you have it. Your B1 question toolkit is officially built. We've gone through the present, the past, the future, and we've added those powerful tools like modals and question tags. With these structures, you are now completely ready to start conversations, handle those everyday problems with flexibility, and share all of your amazing ideas and ambitions. So now, really, the only thing left to do is to go out there and use it. Seriously, think about it. What's the first question you're going to ask with your new confidence skills? Thanks so much for joining me.
Thank you for listening. Have a good one.